So, this is it. This is where it all ends. I'm scared to death, which could be any second now. Every time someone walks by me, I collapse into a ball of tears, snot, whimpers, not knowing whether the next blow will come from fists, feet, elbows, a knife. It's hell. Pure hell. I'm not even the one they were after. God knows what they did or what they're doing to Joe. I never heard him scream. Or at least I couldn't hear him over my own screaming. Couldn't have been more than an hour or two ago. I was dead asleep, dreaming about fish or something. Next thing I see is a flashlight in my face, 3 huge men in a circle, just pounding my head in. When I came back to life, I was in the kitchen floor. Began to feel around and make some sense of it all and get a bead on which direction was up. My face was aching. Lips felt like broccoli. The rest of my head was pretty messed up and bloody from what I could tell. They had a sack around my head and it was soaked. I'm pretty sure it was my blood. I could hear yelling and demands being made, but couldn't make out what language, some of them. Joe was involved in some serious shit. Dragged me right down with him. He always had the good stuff. He was the guy the other drug dealers were striving to be like. I always knew it would end like this, though. I just didn't think I'd be anywhere near it when it all went down. I was just passing through town. Ran into Joe at a Quick Mart. He was pumping gas into a mint green 1970 GTO convertible. I just pulled in to get a closer look at the car. "You son of a bitch, you got it!" Joe turned around, dropped the gas handle, and damn near pulled me out of the car for a hug. "Tommy boy, how you doing, man? So good to see you." We shot the bull for a moment or two, mostly about how, when, how much the car costs, what all he had to do to it, that kind of stuff. I told him I was just passing through town after a business meeting upstate. He insisted that we get a drink, kill a few hours in brain cells for old time's sake, huh? I didn't see no harm in it. Boy, the decisions we make, and have no idea what the consequences could be. We ended up in a quiet little bar, sat way in the back so we could, according to Joey, have some privacy and catch up with some quiet conversation. Looking back at it all now, I should have known he was in trouble. I've never known Joe to have any sort of quiet night out. We used to party pretty hard, I'm not talking about weed and liquor neither. To go through an 8-ball of cocaine, a weekend, just the start of it. I don't talk about it much because it's not the proudest moments of my life. That's the reason I had to leave the city in the first place. It's a good thing I did too. I could have easily ended up like this. Get up. They had a rope woven through the black sack around my face, tightened up like a noose around my neck, pulled my whole weight up by it. I imagine that being hanged felt a lot like this. As far as I knew, I was being hanged. The blood forced into my brain caused all sorts of strange noises and visions, sparks, and speckles in my eyesight. My mind just swirling with all these insane thoughts. "Get your fucking hands off me or I'll cut them off." I let go of the man I was using to hold myself up and put my hands up. Hey, sorry. Yeah, keep those hands right where you got them. They were marching me through the penthouse. I could hear Joe in the rear of the place yelling, "Please don't, no, he's just a friend. He's just stopping by." Oh! This thick, blunt thud just cut him off. Sent a shot of ice-cold adrenaline down my veins. It was followed by another, then another. The pounding continued till it faded in the sound of cars and crickets. I thought I'd offer him what I had financially for Joe's sake, but I think it's a little late for that. After what I just heard too, probably best to keep my mouth shut. Besides, I don't know if I have the kind of money Joe was owing. They didn't even ask about money. It was an execution. I had this vision in my head the moment I was so rudely awakened. Up until now, I hadn't had much time to think on what it was. It was just there in my brain. It was a cool summer day. We were nowhere special. My wife, Denise, had my youngest daughter strapped to her chest, was pushing my eldest son on the swing set. Look at that, that's a woman right there, I thought. That's a woman. I snapped a picture. That picture's the only one I'm seeing in my shattered mind. Denise, Cody, little Sophie. Denise could handle any situation. But, I don't know how she's going to handle this. I was planning on surprising her, too. I never even told her I was coming home a day early. She's not even expecting me. I never planned on running into Joey. And certainly didn't plan on getting so fucked up I had to stay over. Dark chills ran through my whole body. I was shoved into a trunk. My ankles were slammed twice before I had time to pull them in. The ride was unusually comfortable. This must be a Lincoln, maybe a Mercedes. I just blacked out. The moment my eyes closed, they opened right back up. I was being dragged across grass again by that noose around my neck. I was thrown onto hard concrete. My hand touched what I thought was a drain. This is it, I thought. A mob-style classic hit. Me with my brains blown out all over a shower. My wife will have to identify me by something other than my face. I sat up the best I could. Kept my hands in front of my face thinking, maybe I could slow the bullets down. I don't know, maybe I'd live. Started hearing this loud, slow grinding. Several men, big men, groaning. All of a sudden it all just went quiet. I could only hear the sounds of my body struggling to balance itself out. My lungs just gasping for air. Heart struggling to provide blood to my shocked body. My swollen, ringing ears trying to find out what or who's going to hit me next. At least 10 minutes passed before I dropped my hands from in front of my face down to the concrete floor beside me. I sat upright as another 10 minutes passed, no events whatsoever. Hello? Nothing. Anybody in here? I just sat and cried, out of fear, relief, that photograph of my wife and children burning in my head. At least another hour passed before I decided to go ahead and take that dreadful torture mask off my head. It was pitch black either way, but at least I wasn't breathing all that hot, panicked air. I was relieved that apparently I was alone. But where was I? My ankles. Oh, they were aching, but at least not broken. My jaw was. My nose was definitely broken, somewhat disfigured from what I could tell. I wasn't sure if it was really that dark or my eyes just weren't working. I took one hell of a beating. Feeling around on my head, I realized that someone had brass knuckles or something. Something blunt left these long rectangular dents all in my skull and my cheeks. Something shifted somewhere behind me. I snapped around and put my hands in front of my face. Hello? Hello? Another shift. I dropped my hands, hoping my eyes would adjust. That is, if they were working right. Who's there?
Just you and me, buddy.
I spun around immediately despite all the pain in my body. Who are you?
Nobody important.
Where are we?
Can't say.
I looked around to no advantage. It was pitch black like a cave. Are they coming back?
I don't think so.
I sat quietly for a few moments to wrap my head around the situation. I extended my hands out, took a step forward, immediately touched the concrete wall. I slid to the right along the wall one step, and I found a corner. Took another right, one other step, quickly found another corner. I reset, backed up, extended both my arms as wide as I could, and was able to touch two walls of the same room. What are we, in a tomb? Are we in a fucking graveyard? I had some thinking to do for a few moments. How long have you been here?
I'm not sure.
Started feeling nauseous, decided to rest a bit. I sat back down to think. Who is this other guy in here with me? He could be one of them. He could be here to finish me off for all I know.
For all I know, he could be screwing a silencer into a 45 right now. I'm here to help, that's all.
He answered, seemingly reading my thoughts. Then help me get the hell out of here.
I'm sorry. I can't do that.
Oh yeah? Why not?
There's no way out of here.
You sure about that?
I tried. There's no way out.
What then? We just sit here and die? After a long few seconds, he spoke up again.
We could talk. It's the least I can do.
I just sat there thinking of a way to get out. I stood up, stretched my arms upward, but they smacked the concrete roof of the tomb. I felt around for anything, a vent, seam, handle, anything. Slowly started making my way towards the back.
That's close enough.
I took that as a warning. Not wanting to fight in my condition, I sat back down to think again. Is it pitch black in here or am I blind?
Yeah, it's dark.
Well, that's a relief. Not that it makes a difference whether or not I can see, if I'm just going to die in the tomb.
So tell me about yourself.
I thought about telling him to go fuck himself and help me find a way out of this place, but my energy level was so low, I just laid back on the hard concrete and exhaled. I work in finance at a bank, visiting a friend, and he got in trouble with some drug dealers, and well, he's probably dead, but I can't help but be so pissed at him for getting me into this.
I didn't think you belonged here. Me? I guess I got everything I deserved. You have a family?
I got a wife, 2 kids. How about you?
I never knew my kids. I ran out on their mother when the boy was 2. Don't know if the other one was a boy or girl. She was pregnant when I left.
Jeez. Sorry to hear that.
Don't be. I've paid for my sins. I learned to forgive myself a long time ago. See, when you're in here, you can either come to terms with your life and decisions, or you can go out mad and screaming.
I tell you what, I'm not claustrophobic, but I'm pretty damn close to going out mad and screaming either way.
I did lose my mind. Quite a few times. I've been in here all alone. It's nice to have someone to talk to. It's the least I can do for you. All of a sudden, something that had been bothering me the whole time about this stranger's voice. It hit me. It doesn't echo.
I lifted my head up. Slowly got to my feet. Started to quietly seep across the floor towards that voice.
In the corner. Please don't. I'm just trying to help you.
I reached out, felt something hard and rough, piled loosely in the corner. The smooth brownness, the symmetrical holes, further down the brittle, dried fabric, and rows of rib bones. The dried, undisturbed skeletal remains just collapsed into a pile. I stepped backwards, sliding and rolling on bones beneath my feet. I fell backwards, hitting my head on the concrete floor hard. My ears rang out loudly. I began to black out. Through the ringing in my ears, the end of my scream, the beating of my heart. Just before I passed out, I heard this deep, faint voice.
I'm here to help. The least I can do.